heads of these platforms, like when Phil Spencer goofs up and doesn't come through with a promise, or even Herman Holst puts all of his weight behind something as crazy as Concord, right? I love giving my 2 cents about it. But this time around, we got to change it up, because I now got to ask you the question. In light of a lot of the recent events, like the reaction from the Xbox community about Tokyo Game Show. Look, the way Phil even looked at Tokyo Game Show, bro looked stressed. The reaction to Shattered Space, the demoralization of the Xbox community. Like, they're not even talking about anything uplifting on the community front anymore. The ambassador program has been eradicated. Like, in lieu of all this stuff that has hit so heavy in regards to Xbox in 2024 in not a positive way, I'm now going to turn the tables and ask you, because I need help understanding this. What in the world is the new Xbox going to do? Like, seriously, I'm not trying to be facetious. Help me understand that. Let's talk about this. Let's get into it. This is the spiel. What's up, people? It's your boy MM2K here of Hard Knock Digital Culture, Cloud Dosage, and MM2K Gaming. Back again with another episode of The Spill. This is where we talk about the latest and greatest in video gaming news, but I'm going to be honest with you. This one is going to be more ranty than anything. And I'm not going to take forever doing it, because this is just like a real simple, straightforward question that I'm hoping to get help from you on. But before we get into all that, do us a huge favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and rock those bells for notifications, please. It's like I said in the bumper, man. Like, I really woke up this morning and said to myself, I tried to imagine, I'm an Xbox gamer, right? Imagine being an Xbox gamer. And imagine investing $500 in a console. Or even $300. Imagine what you were told at the beginning of the generation, that this Xbox Series X was the world's most powerful console. And when you were asking about the power, like, how powerful is it? You know, Xbox was telling you some things in videos that they've had to unlist, right? But we downloaded them. We got them. Game Pass was supposed to be this ultimate treasure that would bring you the best in gaming. It's fallen flat. And I'm just talking pure delivery here. This is not me trying to kick in Phil Spencer's ribs. I'm just talking what the gamers have been delivered. You thought you were going to get the best games. You thought, okay, I exclusively had Starfield, which is the game of the generation. And look, even though if you want to cap for it, you guys know deep down inside you, I cannot record your reactions to this video and document it and put it on the internet. You can just say this to yourself. I know Starfield was mid. I know it was mid. That's all you got to do. Say it to yourself. I know Starfield didn't do what it was supposed to do. I get it. You know what I mean? It was not what it was cracked up to be, and it's not living up to its hype. We've seen the reaction to Shattered Space. We've seen what was the poor delivery in Redfall. We're seeing all this stuff that you guys were waiting for and you were excited for. And now it's gotten to the point that you've been disappointed so much, you don't even know if to be excited for Indiana Jones. I mean, it's not exclusive. It's going to PlayStation. So now it's got you contemplating, why did I even buy this box? Why did I spend $500 for it, $300 for it? I was told it was the world's most powerful console. I was told it was going to play 1440p games at 60 frames per second consistently. It only did that with the old games. Like the pure promise of these boxes were more active as a mid-gen refresh. You know what I'm saying? Like a second mid-gen refresh. They're great with the older games, but as far as all the aspirations and hopes that you had with the newer games, they've completely fallen flat. Then you look at the community, they don't even know, they can't even be excited about Xbox anymore. So what they've gone to, or what they've gravitated to, is hating on PlayStation. That's all they can do now. And then when you convert over to the Xbox brass, like, is there any hope there? Maybe it's just we're overreacting. Maybe we're just spreading doom and gloom and FUD, and we're just overreacting and not just enjoying games. When you look at the Xbox brass, I mean, Phil Spencer looks like he hasn't eaten in decades. Even Sarah Bond looked stressed. Like they did not look joyful. They did not look gleeful. It looks like every time they talk about this new Xbox post ABK, that is like pulling teeth out of a freaking turtle, man. It does not look like extrapolating happiness out of these folks is plausible. Pulling teeth out of Yo, what's up, everybody? It is your boy MM2K. I'm back here with Cold Blood Sensei. We just ran his fingers to the bone as he was playing Silent Hill 2 Remake. Hopefully you guys got it. It was an awesome stream. Hopefully you guys check it out. If you didn't, definitely do that. Bro put over 3 hours playing that game. And it looks like, I mean, Cold Blood, you tell us. It looks like a good stream to me. I heard Digital Foundry was talking shit on it. It looked like it played well to me. What was your experience?
No, Digital Foundry is absolutely right. The game has problems in performance, absolutely. But it doesn't look fucking terrible like they want you to believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it actually looks great.
Yeah. So you're saying they're right about the performance?
Okay, it does. Okay, wait, no, it does not look like the best fucking game ever. No, absolutely not. But it looks great.
Yeah.
Problem is just the performance. The performance itself is a little bit of a problem.
Okay. But is that how they made
from
it
what
sound?
I played?
They make it seem like it was a little bit of problem, or they make it seem like it was like a humongous problem?
A humongous problem.
Well, you know.
Yeah. That's what that was like. That was back on the PlayStation 8, bro.
Yeah. Was our friend Alex? Was he behind that? Alex Bagaga?
No, it was this other dude that normally never talks.
Oh, Tom Farrell. That dude. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I mean, they can't have Alex under the fire, but Oliver's getting too popular. You know what I'm saying? So they had to bring out Tom, who King Thrash had pointed out in some prior videos that Tom's always been questionable in his analysis and stuff. I'm not a big fan of him either. You know, he was back in the Stadia days. We had like run-of-the-mill testers and stuff like that debunked him and made him redo his video over again like multiple times, and then the final time he actually had to call Google and get it right, and get his setup right. So I've never been a fan of his, and when I was watching King Thrash's video about when he was talking about Hi-Fi Rush, it was like yeah, that does kind of make sense. Like, why is he describing the hiccups on Xbox like that? Like, oh, it's a bug. But whenever he was talking about the PlayStation shortcomings, it was, you know, just basically that, just shortcomings. So yeah, they know what they're doing over there. You got to consider the source. They know exactly what they're doing over. What's up, everybody? Good to see y'all. Yeah, we're running a poll here. We're trying to gauge excitement for if we were to do a metaphor stream, because the truth be told, it's a long ass game, right? I mean, and if we do it here, you know, we're taking up time and space, not just out of people's other time to do stuff, but we're taking up time and space over here as for content wise, or we're accommodating schedules in order to do it. So we don't even want to bother with it. If you got, you know, just be honest. honesty is always the best policy. It's not like, oh man, you better like us doing a metaphor. You know, we don't want to get invested in something that long. Pause. And y'all just, and nobody comes to watch it. So that's why I put the question out there that way. I said, will you watch a metaphor whatever walkthrough if we did one here? And the answers are absolutely. Nah, not here for game streams. Just be honest. Or not sure, maybe sometimes. You know, and we'll base our decision off of that. Right now, absolutely is leading, but it's like, well, it's down the middle. It's like 38. Well, now it's 35, 35, 29. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's pretty much an even split. So you guys got to let us know, because this is going to dictate, again, future content. All right. With that said, okay. So you enjoyed it. You think it's a good remake, right? It's so far so good, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay. Hold on. My phone's ringing. Hello, who is this? Yeah, my name is John Jacobs. I'm from Bloober Team. Oh, hey, John, how you doing today, man? Why are you here? I'm looking for that punk ass motherfucker, Cold Blood Sensei. Cold Blood, what did Cold Blood do? Oh yeah, he was talking all types of shit on us. He said that we're no good. He said we're no good nut lickers, and we couldn't. He said our game was going to look worse than Phantom Dust with the original assets. Did he? Oh shit! Hey, Cold Blood, John Jacobs is on the phone. He wants to know if you got something to say to him about his port.
Good job. Keep doing that and never touch an IP you made yourself again. Like seriously, bro. Someone said in the chat they should become Konami's remaster.
Be their Nixes and shit.
I absolutely agree, bro. Like,
okay.
fuck making dog shit IPs, bro.
Hey, you never know, man. You never know. We here at MM2K Gaming and Cold Blood, we try to figure out the best place where you belong. Like, we're trying to, get Phil to go to the local 7-Eleven and become a manager there, because he definitely doesn't belong in gaming. So we're out to help everybody. But it looked good to me, bro. And I was like in between doing my work and fucking around and doing shit. I was looking at the stream. I just was lurking, and I'm like, that looks fucking. I did not expect it to look that good. I did not. Of course, you're playing it, so of course you get to see and feel those performance issues. But I'm telling you, just from the large slices that I saw on the stream, I didn't notice anything. That's just me. But again, you were of course playing it, so. But
if this poll stays like this, we're doing the stream. Just saying. But if it goes anywhere lower than that, nah.
So what number are you looking for it to be
that
at?
both absolutely and not sure, maybe sometimes, is at 70%.
At 70%, okay.
Together.
Okay. So we need a combination of both of those in order for us to pull this one out. For us to get the game. What you get now? Of course, you would be strict because you want the achievements. You're streaming it. If you stream it, you're going to do it on PlayStation, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. And so you guys can see how it runs on PlayStation.
Bro, with Metaphor, there's really no difference between PC and PlayStation. Like, PlayStation is already at probably the highest quality settings, just not at the highest resolution.
Yeah. Yeah, and that would be my assumption as well. I mean, That's why I couldn't understand why Grand Blue Fantasy had issues. But maybe there's a little bit more there with Grand Blue Fantasy.
I don't know which engine they use. That could be a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't understand that one. Like why at launch that was, and that's the one I got to get back into. But I'm telling you, do you think? I mean, again, do you think Cold Blood? Because remember, you said shit was fucking with your eyes. Do you think that wouldn't be a problem with the game, or you're just like fuck it? I'll just wear shades and shit. I'll just be using eye drops.
I mean, if chat wants me to, fuck it, I do it.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Like he'll have it, he'll stream it. You know what I'm saying? Like day of release, but like this is fucking good. We're seeing people. I mean, just for context, the wobbliness. If you haven't played it, and what I'll do today or tomorrow morning is I'll do it today. I'll make the game stream available here. No, we can fucking play some of it here.
Shout out to Juice. Shout out to Juice.
You said shout out to my boy Cold Blood. He convinced me. Good. That's what's up, man. Hey, that's all we trying to do, man. Is let y'all see it for yourselves, so you don't have digital lousy sitting there trying to, convince you one way or another. That's my bro. Hey, look, they was talking shit on, and even Oliver, who I like. King Thrash said sounds like he's licking ice cream all day. But Oliver, who I like, he was dogging the shit out of Wukong. Y'all saw Cold Blood play it here. Did y'all see any problems on PlayStation? I didn't see any problems. I didn't see any problems enough to where it's like, oh man, that's horrible. You get to see it for yourself. Now in contrast, we'll play games, show you what you're getting. Like when Cold Blood played Hellblade 2 and everybody was like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? So just in contrast, everybody knows what they're dealing with. That's what we do here on this channel. Let me see something here. I want to go to, cause it's a members video now and I was going to release it this week. Let me see content. How did I do that? Did I like stream? Great. Is that what I did? Oh, there it goes. Okay, here we go.
Also, shout out to Blue Fire Demon. He got his PS5.
Oh, Blue Fire. Word. Okay, Blue Fire. Yeah.
And F you, geek. Geek said, I finally started Stellar Blade. No thanks to you two. Okay.
That's what's up. Stellar Blade is a good game, man. A good freaking game. All right, so
but he's saying we didn't sell him on it.
Oh, we didn't sell him on it. Oh, okay, all right. He said people were just hating on Wukong. Well, no, they weren't necessarily geek. They weren't hating on Wukong because everybody is saying Wukong is a good title. They were hating on it on PlayStation. And the people that were hating on it, again, you know who they were. They were primarily the Xbox people, and then I would say a close runner-up was the PC people. Because, of course, because it's available on PC, it's like, oh, why would you get it from PlayStation? But if you have a PlayStation 5 and you want to play Wukong, our verdict is, yeah, go get it. And don't take our word for it. Look at the fucking gameplay. You know what I mean? So like right now on the screen, this is like the prologue of Metaphor. You're not really getting any deep background story. Like even in the prologue, they purposely like dissected and cut it out to where you're just getting parts of the game so you can see how it play or you can see the style of it. Now, if you notice I don't know if you want to call it anti-aliasing or whatever you call it, Cold Blood. I don't know what the right term would be, but like the outline of the game is like real bouncy, right? And because it's like real bouncy and real wobbly and wavy, you know, that can fuck with certain people's peripherals. You know what I'm saying? Like there's certain things that I can't watch. Like I'll go to the movies, and if my wife sees something in a certain color scheme, she gets headaches. So, you know, we all have our own differences when it comes to optics. For Cold Blood, when he's watching all this wobbly ambiance of the game, when he was playing the prologue, it wasn't the most pleasing. So take in mind that, bro, you see it right there when they flash that power, like all that wobbly shit. Take in mind that bro might need some eye drops and some fucking Tylenol to play the game, and we're not going to do it, or we're not going to go through it if you motherfuckers are capping. Like, please show up. You know what I'm saying? And we'll make it worth your while too. We'll definitely make it worth your while. I still got to get with you, bro. We got to talk about schedule so we can come up with this system, but we'll definitely have something in place for the stream and make it worth your while. Well, it'll already be worth your while because the streams are awesome, but you know, we'll throw a little incentive in there. That's probably a better way to explain it. So right now we're still there like around 70%. So as long as we stay there around 70%, then you know where it's like not sure, maybe sometimes, and absolutely. We're good. Okay.
They gotta do it for another 33 minutes.
Yep.
If they can do it for 33 minutes, okay, you got your stream.
You got your stream. If
not, I'm just gonna get the game, play through it, and just give my fucking thoughts on it. Nothing else.
he ain't fucking with you. Hold on, let me y'all.
I won't go through the fraud check for this game, yeah, so I either beat it or didn't, and I'm gonna just tell you my fucking opinion on it.
That's all y'all gonna get. Let me see here. Let's do it. We really don't need that right now. I want to get you guys' comments up here. Let's do this. Let's go to social. Before I do that, I gotta stuff in here. Oh, this makes me sick. That it's not a simple process. So I mean, for the stuff that is happening in gaming, while we're trying to collect you guys' thoughts on whether we're gonna do the stream or not. We talked about Metaphor Refantasio, or however you pronounce it, and how we were going to bring it up again today. Are like you guys interested in that game? I mean, we can't drop a poll right now, but are you guys planning to pick it up at all? Are you guys looking to pick up the game at all? Like, let us know in the chat what your thoughts are. Say, bro, let's go. Yes, sir. Let's get us, is Dantazy. One Devil Shooter in the house. Navinger, we in the house. Says, yeah, we here. Yo, Andrew Wilkins, Xbox fans are celebrating Halo using UE5. Now they champion 30 frames per second first party game. Hey, bro, let me tell you something. If Halo is 30 frames per second, I don't even give a damn on the single player. If it's still 30 frames per second anywhere, somebody needs to drag Xbox out to the back and put it out as misery like Old Yeller. Just boom. They just need to take it out as misery. Under no circumstances should any Halo game, any element of it, be like freaking 30 frames per second. That's an embarrassment. It better not be.
Why?
Because it's a third person. I mean, it's a first person shooter.
But no, wait. Didn't we now like 30 FPS walking sims? Aren't we saying it's the greatest fucking thing to ever exist?
It should win
what
awards.
happened to that now?
Yeah.
It's getting snubbed.
Yeah. If the Xbox community accepts that, there is no hope for them. None.
Like,
None.
I would like that. I would absolutely like that to be at 30 FPS because we would have a lot of fun then. I mean, not with the game, but with the people that been overhyping this shit.
Yeah. Did you guys got my PlayStation 5 cam? Oh, your Blue Fire Demon. Yeah, brother. Look, people think that we're PlayStation fanboys. No. We're being upfront and honest. And we haven't always come down on the same place about this. We're being upfront, and we may not agree in the future. We're just being upfront and honest about our own personal likes and dislikes. And you couldn't find two contrasting gamers like Cold Blood and I. That's why I think that's the power dynamic of our content, is that I'm on one end of the spectrum, he's on another end of the spectrum, and we're coming to these same conclusions. Why? Because it's undeniable, bruh. It's just undeniable. Xbox is trash. No, PlayStation by far is giving you the biggest bang for your buck for when it comes to console. For $400, you get a 9th generation machine that works hard in giving you 30 frames per second. I mean, giving you 60 frames per second games, particularly coming from the company.
Oh, I was about to say, man. Nah, you didn't just start the fucking war here, bro. God damn, at 30 FPS.
Mark Cerny knocking on my door. What the fuck you say? Yeah, 60 frames per second. Meanwhile, and Sony this wasn't even part of their marketing, bro. Like, Sony never sat there and was like 60 frames. They never said that. That was at the core of Xbox's marketing. Xbox said this stuff to y'all. And they're the ones delivering on it significantly less than PlayStation. PlayStation just knew that was the expectation, and that's what they worked towards. That's it. Why? Because PlayStation has a better pulse of the community. They just do. You know? We talked about it yesterday. What was that? IGN, Phil Spencer, Spencer email, PlayStation reveal. Well, I gotta show this again. There we go. We gotta show this shit again for the non-believers in the house. Let's show this shit again. For those of you that missed our stream yesterday, this is I'm just gonna read it and then we're gonna move on. Come on. What Xbox's Phil Spencer really thought of the PlayStation 5 reveal? This is an email, for those of you that don't know, this is an email that Phil Spencer sent to Satya Nadella and Amy Hood, who is like his chief of staff, quote unquote, she's the COO, right? So for those of you that don't know what that role entails, is that it's your job to make sure that the goals set out by the CEO are enforced. So when you hear chief of staff or COO, that's not the person in charge. They're the enforcer. They're the runner for the person in charge. So it's kind of like if you watched the Andy Griffith show, I'm telling my age, Barney Fife, his little squiggly ass running around for Andy Griffith. Yeah, Andy. So that's Amy Hood. You can have some ferocious runners for you, in which Amy is She is ferocious, golly. But, and I think she's more of a ground runner. So she's getting a better understanding of Phil's bullshit, I think more so than Satya. So that's why now he's reporting and sending emails to Amy and Phil, because with all the stuff not Amy and Phil, Amy and Satya, because with all the stuff that Satya has to done, he's probably told Amy, look, I need you to watch over this area. I need you to watch over Phil and what he's doing, because something just doesn't feel right. And she's doing it. So now he's emailing both of them consistently. It happens in business all the time. Happened to me. When we had got new leadership, and the new leadership was trying to understand what it is that we do, and our boss at the time had a serious runner, had a serious chief of staff. She was ferocious. Anywho, this is what Phil Spencer sent Amy Hood and Satya Nadella. He said, after he saw the PlayStation 5 reveal, I want you to listen to this. We have a better product than Sony does. I mean, we can end the show right there and just laugh at that shit for hours, right? But I digress. Let's continue. We have a better product than Sony does. Not just on hardware. Hold on, now I gotta stop. Hold on, because I gotta prep you for this one. Because every time I read this, I get chills, like shocking chills through my body, because I just can't believe that these words were uttered by someone given so much responsibility, whose job it is not to give you their emotion or tell you not to preach to the choir. He's getting paid a lot of money to give you an assessment on what consumers are going to think about said product, right? Again, let me start again. We have a better product than Sony. And that not just on hardware, but equally important on the software platform and services on top of the hardware. We have the ingredients of a winning plan. And he continues, we haven't won anything. And I know we have a hard decision about pricing and P&L and investment, etc. This mail isn't trying to scoop any of that. Those discussions really matter. But we can take confidence in our product truth here. And I do believe any conversation needs to start with believing in that. This was a good day for Xbox. Thanks for indulging me.
Wait, what was a good day for Xbox again?
A good day for Xbox was them watching their life fade before their eyes. I guess that's a good thing. I don't know. Watching their end come closer and closer. I don't know. But that was good for them. Like, bro said that. Like, here's what I'm going to do. Fuck the bullshit. Because it's time. Let's do this. Because this doesn't need to be exclusive to me. Phil's. We need to break people out of their first 5 minutes of now where they're stuck there and they don't have short-term or long-term memory. Phil's quote about being confident after PS5 reveal. Like, how delusional can you be, and or how much of a bullshitter must you be to even strike up the nerve to send this out? Like, neither is good, right? Neither is good. Neither is good. And for those of you that don't understand where this came from, or if this is real, this is from the FTC trial. This is, these are the documents and the emails that the FTC had ordered Microsoft to pony up, and they gave them to the government And these are one of the there was a shit. As a matter of fact, there was a shit ton of documents that were never supposed to go public. And honestly, we never went through all of them. There's probably a bunch of shit, and I'm gonna see if I can find a way to get to access them. But a court clerk for the trial accidentally put a bunch of shit out there that was supposed to just go into evidence, and they made a bunch of shit public. This was one of the emails that they made public. So we would have never known about this had that motherfucker not made that quote unquote mistake. But they probably read this shit and was like, oh no, risking my job is worth it. I'll borrow my uncle's EBT card for a month. Oh, this is worth it. Because again, I want you guys to look at this. I want you to understand what happened in that reveal. I want you to look at everything as it's rolled out. I want you guys to think about the developers, Cold Blood, who were telling us, along with Mike Ybarra, former employee at PlayStation, that was telling us that fuck all that bunk that you're hearing from a Digital Foundry or Digital Lousy or anybody else out there that just wants to go crazy with these numbers. Like, fuck that bunk. We're actually developing on this thing, and we're telling you what's going on here. Like, this, number one, the PlayStation 5 is not to be slept on. Number two, Xbox has some problems because of the Series S. Now, whether Xbox didn't want to tell its consumers that because they were already so invested, that's one thing. But to sell that lie internally, to sell it internally, that is crazy. Either you're that much of a bullshitter or you are in la la land. I just want y'all to think about it. I'm gonna get to you guys' responses in the chat in a second, but I want y'all to think about it. Again, Phil Spencer said this in a communication that he never expected to go public. This is not marketing ploy. This is something that this dude truly believed based upon the things that he had created under his watch. Under no and here's the kicker. Let's just do a little bit of history. I've shown you guys time and time again the Brad Sams video from 2019. This is a 2020 email. In 2019, in 2018, because I showed it in 2019, but Brad actually released it in 2018. In 2018, Phil knew from the developers already that the Series S was going to be a bottleneck. He knew it was going to be a bottleneck. Why? Because when he first proposed it to developers, they said, oh, this complicates things. If this is what you're going to do, then we're not going to utilize the power of the Series X. We're just going to develop for the Series S's capabilities, and then we'll scale it up to the Series X, meaning that a lot of things that the Series X can do, we're not going to waste our time and bother with. Phil didn't like that. Because enough common sense kicked in then where he said, you know what? We don't want to repeat what we did last gen. We don't want a repeat of that. I walked into that situation, was out of my control, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to repeat it. That would be stupid. So they canceled Lockhart, but they were hell-bent on having a lower entry into gaming. They thought that would give them a head start. So then they decided that our lower entry into gaming would be xCloud. But then they saw what Stadia was able to do on the cloud. And they looked at xCloud and then they realized, holy shit, if we try to roll this out as a service against that, we're going to be the laughing stock. That's why as Stadia did their reveal, they sent that big email to the company. Oh yeah, I believe in us. This same crock of bullshit that he sent here to Sajid. So after seeing that, and that's why you had the Fortune magazine interview where the guy was like, why is this in a beta forever? Why don't you just roll this out retail? And Phil nervously said, would you sell that? Like honestly admitting that it was a piece of shit. Okay. So then they go back to the drawing board and they realize, okay, Series X is still our plan. We scrapped the Series S, which was Lockhart, but because we were going to go with this xCloud thing, but this ain't going to do it. This is not going to do it. Maybe Halo Infinite, and this was in the court documents too. Maybe Halo Infinite can kickstart xCloud. Like if people play Halo on the go on xCloud, maybe that'll kickstart it. That's where, remember, he said that he's thinking that the Xbox, these are Phil's words, the Xbox fan base would evangelize xCloud, would evangelize it, meaning they would act like sheep. And because it's an Xbox product, boost it up regardless of its performance, because they would be able to play Halo on it. That's what his thought process was. Again, it's totally disconnected from reality, right? Knowing that they can't market this as a product because it's nowhere near as good as the other cloud services out there that are charging you something, he then decides to go back to Lockhart, which was the Series S, and he did it at the last minute, and this was to the dismay of all of the developers. And they had to change the GDK, the Global Development Kit, because the SDK, which just had one console attached to it, now was complicated with multiple consoles. And that's why they ran with that excuse, oh, it's the tools, because they had to transform and redo the development kit. That did complicate, quote unquote, tools that were available. But the thing that was going to make those tools pointless is the Xbox Series S, because it's such a bottleneck. So that's why they ran with the tools. That's why you heard developers say, not developers, content creators, the tools. Right? When they were the tools. That's why you heard that shit. So knowing that history that Phil was a part of, he was in the middle of it. Knowing that developers now are pissed off and upset about what's happening with Xbox and the development woes now that they got to deal with. Knowing that, he sits there and acts like none of that is an issue. He's acting like the only thing they got out there is the Series X, and that motherfucker's $200. That's what this sounds like. But even beyond that, that's just the hardware, y'all. What about he says we have a better product than Sony does, not just on hardware, but equally important on the software platform. This isn't even arguable. This is objective based upon critical acclaim and user rankings. Stellar Blade. I'm not even going to go into the fucking first party games. I'm not even going to go into first party games. Which, opposite of Concord, we know just shit over Xbox. Really, Concord, which was a pile of dog do, it probably is on the same level as Starfield, as uninspiring. But Concord, the crap that was, shits on a lot of the stuff that they put on here, if not all of it, put out, except for like maybe Hi-Fi Rush or something like that, right? But then they got rid of that studio. I digress. Anyway, we're not even going to talk about first party. Let's just focus on just exclusive content. Stellar Blade is better than anything Xbox released this generation. By far. Stellar Blade is. That's not even the best game they released this generation. Stellar Blade is better than anything Xbox has put out there, by far. The quality and the appeal of the Xbox games are bad. They have put out more this generation. They have thrown at you the kitchen sink like they have with the likes of Game Pass or whatever. There has been a bigger push of these first 5 years from Xbox this generation than there was last generation. Now, granted, their launch year was bigger. They had the Capcom game, the third edition of that. They had Rise, Son of Rome. They had Sunset Overdrive. And I can't remember. I believe they had more of a, appealing lineup. And then they tried to release Quantum Break. Those just couldn't break, they couldn't break into the mainstream game. So yeah, they did have stuff out there. But in totality, when you look at the games and the cadence that they could become, the first 5 years this time around, there's definitely a bigger attempt than there was the first 5 years last time around, right? That being said, even with the bigger attempt, they're doing worse. They're doing worse. And PlayStation in the States is tracking better than it did last gen. The proof is in the pudding. There is no way that someone should look at Minecraft Legends, Redfall, even Starfield. I mean, I can imagine you just crossing your fingers and hoping that this just empty, soulless sandlot that's missing the charm and the soul of the atypical Bethesda game. Maybe you were hoping that because this game had so much hype and it was so big in scope that maybe it would just, have a little bit more reach than normal. Okay, maybe you were illusioned by that possibility. But everything else you should have known was going to fail the way that it did. You should have known it. So why would you guys believe that this guy's going to do anything else? Why? Why do you believe it? Why do you believe that this guy is possible of anything else? Help me understand. That's it. Let's go to the chat. I wouldn't watch a metaphor stream because I'll be playing and don't want any spoils. No, that makes sense. I get that. Maybe they just suck when they make Xbox timed exclusives. Shout out to Juice. It's for my birthday today. Oh, okay. All right, Bluefire. Well, happy birthday, my friend. Digital lousy. Yeah, that's what they are. Digital lousy. Because they really want to look. Digital Foundry, I think, really are. They love talking about Xbox. Why do they love talking about Xbox? Because Xbox feeds them content. Well, yeah, there's the 75 CUDA cores. Like they're all, like, if you're, granted, again, you're Cold Eastwood, you're a Dealer Gaming, you're a D-Batch, right? Like, you're a gamer, but you want to talk. You're a console gamer, but you want to talk tech. Now, it's different if you're a PC gamer and you want to talk tech. Then there's a whole nother crowd for that. They're a lot more intelligent, so you got to be on top of your game. It's just a whole different atmosphere. But if you're a console gamer and you want to talk tech, you don't have a lot of options as far as being fed information. Like, PlayStation ain't out here talking about the CUDA cores and the Bibble watts. They just want to sell you the game. They just give you the straight dope. This game is awesome. This game is the shit. And every blue moon, when there's something tech related to market, Mark Cerny pops his head out. Xbox is different. Xbox, particularly under Phil Spencer, I mean, don't get me wrong, the other execs did it too, because Xbox back in the day was a technical marvel. But what Xbox is trying to do now is they're trying to grift and live off of that old technical marvel standard that they used to have, and they want to keep pushing that to people, right? Because it used to be cool talking about the technical marvel shit that was built under the hood from an Xbox that you really weren't getting anywhere else, right? That was a cool discussion that Xbox brought to the table that wasn't there before. Before it was just about graphics, how good a game looked, and how good a game was overall. Xbox helped bring that extra element into the discussion, right? And who's making the game and when the game is coming out. So if you saw that, you grew up on that whole thing with Xbox, and you said, that's what I want to do on the internet. I want to be a tech specialist, but I want to talk about console. PlayStation isn't sitting there doing breakdowns with you and talking about the bibawatts and the gigahertz. Who's doing that? Xbox is. Xbox is feeding you content. Like when the Xbox One X was dropping, you would have thought that the motherfucker was going to play games at 12K, 190,000 frames per second, make you hash browns, and probably jiggle your nads from behind every now and again. That's the way they made the Xbox One X sound like. You ready for your nuts to be jiggled? You know, you hit the velocity. That was the original form of the velocity architecture. Like, that's the way they made it sound. Go back to the old Richard Ledbetter videos, and you would think that this was more than a console. Because they're sitting there throwing numbers at you and CUDA cores and boobawatts and and there was like a new video like every other week, if not every week. A new video about speculation and all this crazy shit. When the fucking box dropped at $500, all it took was Mark Cerny to sit up there with his uncommon ass rapid pack math, drop a $200 console that looked better, and it had God of War looking better than anything on that fucking $500 console. That's all he did. He's uttered 3 words: rapid packet math. And destroyed the credibility or the impetus of any video that Digital Foundry put out there on the Xbox One X prior. And people laughed at him. Why? Because you can't just come on here with your hair all afraid and just talk about rapid pack math and talk about how you're going to defeat all these bibawatts. We got all this printed paper and shit that got all these computations and shit on them. Xbox is going to shit on PlayStation, right? We've heard that before, right? And guess what? God of War 2018 came out on a $200 console and looked better than anything on the $500 console. That's when I knew I was done. I didn't even like PlayStation at that moment. When I saw that shit, I knew I was done, son. So what the fuck did Phil get me to do? It's like I came out of I came out of a coma. Like I was sleepwalking. What the fuck? Like I was possessed. What the fuck was Xbox doing to me all this time? This thing is $200. How the fuck does this game on a $200 device look better than this thing I stood in line for hours on at midnight and shit instead of getting some sleep? You guys tell me. Under no circumstances can you look at this email and devise that anything under Phil's watch can be trusted. He knew. That's why I said the guy is delusional. He's a bullshitter. I'm leaning towards bullshitter. Why? Because in talking this out, he knew all that stuff from the devs. He knew that they were going to have problems with the platform. They were already knee deep in it. They just had to move forward. And this dude, he's the type to where he's just like, fuck it. I've already sold this lie to the gaming community, and I've sold this lie to Satya to even get the funding started for it. Now that we've come to the realization in 2020 that this is not going to be easy peasy, look, man, we got to continue to lie, and maybe we'll blame it on media bias. maybe we'll take a cue from Post Up and blame it on media bias. There's some dude out there, he drinks pickled pork rind juice out there. His name is Post Up. We're gonna go with his excuse, and we're gonna blame it on media bias. And that's where we're at. Yeah, I don't know, Juice. I don't know how we have 36 people watching and we only have 12 likes. You know what I'm saying? My thing is, if you come here and you lurk and you do it routinely, then you gotta like the content. You gotta like it because you hate it. You know, you gotta like the stream because you hate us. I love coming here and they make me so mad. I'm throwing darts at their avatar. I printed out pictures of their avatar and I'm throwing darts and axes at them. You like the stream for some reason, just hit the like button. Maybe you'll get more comrades of yours to come to the stream and hate watch us like you do. And maybe there'll be enough of you that are brave enough to where y'all start taking over the chat. Who knows? But that's a good ass question, Juice. I don't know. Jenna says, I noticed Metaphor runs slower on PlayStation 5. I wonder if it's because of Microsoft and stupid parity clause that states all systems must run similar to the Series S. Are you saying that it runs slower on the PlayStation 5 versus Xbox or versus PC? Cold Blood, have you heard anything like that?
No.
No? Okay. I don't know. Blue Fire Demon says, do you think PlayStation 5, that Halo come? Absolutely. Look, Satya and Amy have the receipts too. Believe you me, Satya and because when Tim Dog, and if you're not a member, become a member, check out the Tim Dog interview. Tim broke it down that Amy has been sharp on Phil's ass. Like now she understands, now she's gotten a good grip on how the business side of it works and they can't be bullshitting anymore. So Amy has been talking to Phil like, what is your plan with this? Because the way you plan to approach this doesn't make sense. And why are we investing in this if you're just relying on the Xbox community? Because the Xbox community, that's why they closed the ambassador program. That's why all these community outreach initiatives have been closed down, because they're not working. Xbox spends so much on these community outreach things and they're not working. So they've closed them down. Amy's like, what is the purpose? They are not working. Right? And so now they're moving Blue Fire Demon to putting their stuff on PlayStation. And to signify that move, there are two big middle fingers they've given to the gamers that really want this stuff to stay exclusive. Big middle finger number one was the release of Indiana Jones. Big middle finger number two was standing in front of Call of Duty at Tokyo Game Show. When you have a show there, right, standing there in front of a Call of Duty poster that has PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4 logo on it, and purposely standing there. They could have moved over where that logo was out of the shot. They didn't. They purposely. They wanted that logo there, bruh. So I think the biggest takeaway from this would be, or should be, they are making this change to where they're doubling down on former 343 and Halo Studios. They're doubling down on them because they see that there's a potential of them doing some shit with Halo, right? From remastering games on UE5 and then putting those remastered games on PlayStation, to putting future games on PlayStation, hell, even the new Switch 2.0, to maybe new media contents, to maybe they're really looking now to capitalize. That's why they've enacted a seat. Like, there's still the studio head, but then there's the CEO, the COO, the chief of staff. Like, they put a whole organization around. They put an administrative organization around the company business of Halo. They really put an organization, because these people are going to monitor the business of Halo. You still have your production head, which I forgot what that guy's name is. You still have that production head guy. He's going to, be the direction, and he's going to be in charge of the direction that the actual games go in. But the business of it, the talking to networks and the movie making of it, or the TV show making of it, or the toys of it, or the t-shirts and merchandising of it, the business of Halo. Or they're going to be anime, comic books, audio, all that shit behind it. They've now incorporated that. And they put a leadership team around that. So this is all a doubling down on Halo to make money. And at the heart of making money off of Halo, the games have to sell. The games are not selling enough on Xbox. They're not even selling enough on PC long term. How do you get them to sell enough? Well, they got to go on PlayStation. So this move to UE5 is likely in large part due to the fact that now the upper brass, Amy Hood, Satya Nadella, after all the bullshit Phil has given them, you guys are looking at it on the screen, they now said, okay, we're going to make sensible decisions around our shit, and we're going to market it in a more sensible way, opposed to trying to compete with Sony, because we can't do it. Why can't we do it? Because Phil, you don't know how. So Phil, you're going to change. You better shape up or ship out. And that's why I think bro looks like he's on a grape and water diet now in a matter of a month. So yeah, it's coming. It's coming. Why do people care if Halo goes to PlayStation? I think people care, jiggery pokery, because when you buy a console, your console support is based upon how many other people buy that console. So when you're in the console business, if other people are seeing the same games that are on your console go to another console, and then that console has a lot more shit than your console, then guess what? Your console doesn't sell a lot. And if your console doesn't sell a lot, then when it comes to third-party support, see, everybody's forgetting this equation. The thing that keeps consoles afloat is third-party support. It's not the first-party support. The first-party support is the bait. So when you go fishing, it's not the worm that you're going to eat. You're going to eat the fish that the worm brings. So it's good that you have the right bait, the right worm that's the most that's going to attract the most fish, because that's the real McCoy. There is the fish. The same in the console business. The real McCoy is the third party stuff. That's where Sony is making its money. That's why when y'all sit there and say, oh, this exclusive only sold this, it doesn't matter. The totality of the exclusives that are getting critical acclaim, that are hitting high marks with their target demographics, that is making gamers say, you know what? I'm not going to buy that box. I'm going to buy this box, and play my Call of Duty and Fortnite there, because not only do they have Call of Duty and Fortnite, but they got all this other cool looking shit too, that if I get into it, it'll be worth my money. And these other guys don't have, they have the exact same shit that's on this box, but none of the other cool stuff. That's why people care. See, we were forgetting about that. People care because if you're a console gamer, meaning you don't care about the cloud because the cloud is not performing enough for you, or you don't have the internet to play it properly, and you can't afford a PC, you can't just go to PC, you can't afford it or whatever, so you're pretty much stuck on console, right? And don't believe that bullshit about, well, you can build a PC. A PC is so different from a console, and the support that PC games get are so much different from what a console gets, and you can't just run auto config and everything work as well as the same game that's ported to console, because developers put care into that port to where it's just all do it yourself on console. So if you're a plug and play gamer, a do it yourself feature is not going to work like a developer who's putting that personal care in that port, because that's the type of machine that you're delivering for. A do it yourself button is not going to take into consideration a variety of hardware that they have to support. You're not going to get that same utilization out of a do it yourself button that you would from a developer handcrafted porting and making the cuts and incisions in the right places for this static hardware. It's a lot easier for them to do that for a console than it is to make a do-it-yourself button that tries to like auto config shit for it's not the same. So if you try to build a console around this, try to build a PC around the same price of a console, you are undercutting yourself so much. If you do AAA gaming and you want to game on PC, you have to pay significantly more than what a console does, because it's a PC. It's a high power. It's like trying to take a power car or a muscle car and say, well, throw this out and throw that out and throw that out, and then you can get the same. You can come in and around the same price of a regular sedan. That defeats the purpose, for one, and for two, the way that muscle cars are designed, you're destroying the purpose of having one altogether. So coming in with this run-of-the-mill, cheaply built PC just defeats the purpose altogether. Because again, your auto config ain't gonna work when the very same game a few years later plays so well on that console, because it's being optimized there to where your PC is barely at recommended specs, and they're not doing all that individual care that they do for a console port. It's like your parts come up to this particular benchmark number. This is what we recommend. Take it or squeeze it. You know what I'm saying? So again, you got gamers that cannot afford the PC, or PC is not a logical alternative for them. You also got gamers who cannot go with the cloud, so they're stuck on console. Consoles work because, and this has been, look, I've been gaming for almost 40 years. Next year will be my 40th year anniversary in gaming. I've been gaming for almost 40 years to date. It has been the same. It has worked the same way every console generation, every year, every day for the past 40 years. And there's nothing Xbox can do with its talentless group that's going to change it. What makes your console successful is the exclusive lineup. Period. That's what makes a console successful. Ooh, those have the games that I want. They're accessible, they're affordable. I want that console. Now, over time, the amount of exclusive content has shrunk, because there was a point in time back in my heyday, and even all the way up to the PlayStation 2, the overwhelming majority of games that were on one console were totally different on another console. So that has shrunk. So it is boiled down to first-party games that the console makers make themselves, or deals that they strike, that some of the same deals that they still strike with other content makers. And even at that, even though the vast majority of the titles are going to be on multiple consoles, the one that wins the day has that, just that, even if the margin is only like a 10%, that has that 10% extra of games that consumers consider are better here than over there. So again, what does happen if you're that console guy? Well, your game that was supposed to be exclusive to your console is now somewhere else too. So the next wave of people that go buy consoles year after year after year from here on out, they were looking at your console like, well, damn, there's nothing. If I get this console, what is the purpose? It's not that it's much more powerful. It's not that it's so much better that there's more people on it. Like, you have nothing going for you. And the shit that you used to have on your console exclusively is now everywhere else. Why would I buy this console? So now what happens, as you see it happening, as more and more people are now just saying, well, it only makes sense to get a PlayStation. What happens to you, the Xbox owner? Well, what happens to you is, as years go on and those swath of people are in a heavy fashion moving over to PlayStation, developers are looking at the Xbox, the system that you bought for $500, and they're saying, why bother? Why would I even develop for that? It's not making any sense anymore. People are not buying that box, even though you bought it. They're not sitting there and saying, hey, Fred bought it. Fred bought it, so we got to keep making games for Fred. They don't care. If Fred's console cannot keep pace, they're not going to make, it's not going to be worth it. It's not going to be worth the investment. Why? Because as the years go on, game development gets more and more expensive. The tools allow you to do more and more things. You get more used to the hardware. So then you got to pour more and more effort into it and put more and more people into building the games that you want to build. So these developers don't have a finite number of resources. So if I'm trying to build this big blowout game and I know that 99% of the clientele is on PlayStation because that's who's buying PlayStations and only 1% is on Xbox, why would I waste that effort of those people trying to simultaneously, or they call it parallel porting? Why would I waste time on that parallel porting effort where we could take that same effort for the people that was going to do it on Xbox? We can use them to optimize the game on PlayStation and add in some other shit before it launches. Do some other shit. I'm not going to be able to do that if I got to split my staff in half. And I'm splitting my staff in half. You guys got to remember this. Just because a console sells less, that doesn't mean that the port requires less. It still has to be ported to a machine. So if you have 100 people and you need at least 50 to make the port sellable, then you got to put 50 on PlayStation, 50 on Xbox. That's going to prolong when it releases, all that shit. Opposed to you putting 100 people on PlayStation, you can get the game out faster and get it out a lot better. That's why a lot of you that are sitting there talking about, oh yeah, all these Final Fantasy games, they need to be day and date on PlayStation. Look at them. Look at the performance. They would have been worse if they had to do parallel development. It wouldn't even been worth it, because guess what? Guess how many people would have bought it on Xbox? Because the first thing you would have heard is it coming to Game Pass. So that's why people care. Jiggery port. We got to get out of our own shell and understand that there are people that are heavily affected by Xbox's change in direction. And they got bamboozled. Janae says, I'll probably get it later and stream it, but it'll be okay. Any FPS should not be 30 frames per second. I can't do 30. I'm a huge Persona fan. I'm very interested in this game. He says, Blue Fire says, nah, fuck 30 frames per second. Put fucking gyro and shooters for fuck's sake. UE5 engine makes it easier to port over to PlayStation 5. Yeah. Absolutely. I think Phil will retire in 2025, says Jenna Hayes. Leave all the mess on Sarah Bond. Now, I don't think it's a mess for her because she don't give a fuck. All she wants to do is sell games. I do think there is probably an effort to push Phil out. And I think Sarah Bond is part of that effort. I really do think that Sarah Bond is the next in line. I don't think Sarah Bond considers this a mess. I think the only thing that she thinks is a mess is appeasing the console warriors for Xbox. That's the only thing that she considers a mess. The moment that Phil is gone, that whole spirit of having to entertain the console warriors go away. And Sarah's happy because she has no tie to this community. She doesn't. Basically the henchman of Satya. Army makes sure that all the studios installs the frosted glass correctly. Phil was doing mushrooms when he wrote that email. Either he was writing mushrooms or he got balls made out of pure brass and copper. Phil had Hargeet write that for him. Phil spends too much time watching Xbox podcast. Yeah, there's something wrong with bro. Phil saw Craig at the point and it was like Phil's how do you like hold on, I don't want to gloss over that. Satya whole slate. How do you see Craig? How do y'all see Craig? See this email and then still have confidence in anything coming out of Xbox being stellar. Like, I wouldn't consider it stellar until I get a demo in my hands, until reviews come out, till something. Until then, it's just an idea that might have some promise if it looks good. He said Xbox fans can't remember what happened yesterday, so there's that. So much in politics and games feels like a live Minority Report. Shake my head. Series S should have been a console with later game release dates, first Series X and PlayStation. No, I think the Series S should have just been scrapped. They should have just did what PlayStation was doing. They were in a bad spot last gen because the Xbox One, which was developed under Donnie D's watch while he was the leader, had that SRAM in it, which hurt games and made it look worse on paper, right? And so Xbox lost its biggest draw, which is the power narrative. It lost that, and then they didn't have games to make up for it. I mean, they had games. They had more games than PlayStation at launch, AAA games at that, but they were mediocre. And they were mediocre because so much was put in the focus of the Kinect into that gimmick. When you roll out something new, it's always the first series of it gonna be wobbly bobbly, and then they figured that they had time over time, but the rollout was so bad it didn't happen. But no, the Series S should have never happened. The Series S, what it should have been was the exact same thing. Here's what I would have done. I would have had the $500 console with the disc drive. I would have had the $400 console without the disc drive. I get where Xbox is losing money, but in addition to that, we continue to market xCloud or whatever, but xCloud was just done totally in a totally dumb fashion. Or what they could have done is they could have said, look, we're going to give you the Series S in those first 2 years where you're basically playing backwards compat games. That's fine. But as of like 2022, towards the holiday 2022, the Series S is now becoming a stream device. It's a stream device. Like, if you don't want to natively make games on the Series S, that's fine. It's now a stream device that has the capability of playing games, old games that can play better. Like, if you're just still playing the old games, that's great. Now you can play them better. Or you can play 9th generation games, the ones that are supported natively, great. but the ones that aren't supported natively, you're gonna have to play over the cloud. And I would have made that my marketing. That would have been my marketing, and then it is what it is. It's either that I would have either done that or just mimic what PlayStation was doing, take the hit, and also focus more on a better lineup. Better. I would have instead of buying studios, I wouldn't have bought all these studios. Here's what I would have done. I would have done what PlayStation did, bought a disc and discless console. I would have taken the hit, $100 hit. Then what I would have done is I wouldn't have bought all these studios just yet. I would have had money set aside to buy studios down the road, but then I would have threw a shit ton of money at games coming, and I would have done a shit ton of second party deals or third party deals. I would have done a shit ton of second party and third party deals. A year, I would have done a shit ton of those a year exclusive. Like all the badass games that were coming out, they would have been a year exclusive on the new Xbox. Like the ninth gen version of it. Like if a game had a ninth gen version, I would have even did not a marketing deal. I would have even done an exclusive deal. Like we're the only ninth gen version. If you want to know, because your goal is to get a head start with who? The fucking the fanatics that buy the consoles at the beginning of the year, the hardcore gamers rather, that buy the games at the beginning of the year. I mean the beginning of the gen. The day one buyers. You want to get them. So if I get a PlayStation and like the only thing that I have to look forward to is Godfall, you know what I'm saying? Maybe Returnal, and I can't remember, was there anything else at launch? And Demon Souls. But meanwhile, all the other shit Xbox is getting day one. All right, then you might be on to something. Now, granted, that just keeps me at bay on my PlayStation 4, right? Or if I gotta have next gen and I want to have the whole slot of next gen, bam. So then maybe I do buy Bethesda. Maybe I do buy them. But at least because I ain't got all these studios that ain't doing shit for me, I can concentrate more on Bethesda. Make sure their shit is clean. I got all these marketing deals that are going to hold me down. I want to make sure that these marketing deals would have held me down for the first 4 years. And then guess what happens? That now gives Bethesda a lot of time to work on a non-bottleneck Starfield that there is no Series S. There's only the Series X and the Series X discless. And then guess what happens? Now Starfield ain't coming out till 2024. And fuck Redfall. All hands on deck on Starfield. Like we're adding shit, and then we're letting the core creators do the work on other shit. Yeah, that's what I would have done. He said, if you're not here for game streams, don't watch. No, that's true, Geek. But we just want to make sure that there are some people that we want to at least gauge to see how many people are here for game streams. It says game news. Phil plans to put out all these failures on. So I read that one. All right, I gotta get out of here, y'all. We're well over our time, but we're gonna end this poll right here. Let's see what the end result of the poll is. What happened?
Just barely.
He says, "Don't worry, Doug Bowser loves you." And he says, "Come on over." Hey, bro, I would not mind. I want to so bad add Nintendo to my portfolio. I miss playing Nintendo games, but I can't do 30 frames. If this new console or this new unit, does performance modes and they don't look like complete oatmeal, I'm there, bro. I would love to. Now, what happened to our poll? And why isn't it showing the results?
No, I can tell you the results.
What's it say for you? Okay, now I'm seeing it. That was weird.
Okay.
So if we asked again, will you watch a Metaphor ReFantasio walkthrough if we did one here? Not sure. Maybe, not sure. Maybe sometimes was 40%. Absolutely was 33%. And 26% of y'all said not here for game stream. So we got over our 70% threshold. So we'll be getting.
But I'm kind of disappointed that absolutely got only second place.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Man, they don't appreciate us, boss. Besides our podcast.
Well, I get it. A lot of people want to come here and see us kick Phil Spencer's ribs in, but what do you guys
do that daily anyway?
Yeah, we do it anyway. But like, what are you guys gonna do when Phil leaves? Like, what if he does, like Jenna suggests? What if he does retire in 2025?
Then we're gonna kick. I don't know. I mean, can we even kick Sarah in this chance? I have no idea.
Sarah, the problem with Sarah is she don't care. She's going to make it abundantly clear. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? She's going to say, we are not trying to compete with PlayStation. She's not even going to play that game. She's not going to sit up there and be like, oh, it's just a business. I mean, it's a business. Yeah. She's going to make it abundantly clear that they are a glorified publisher. So it's going to kind of be hard. You know, you probably, if Sarah were to go in 2025, you are not going to see a console in 2026. Like if Phil goes in 2025, I mean, the console's getting thrown out. Phil, they're going to take the prototype. They're going to throw his ass off the into the lawn and then hit him and launch the prototype at his head and shit. You're not. If Sarah Bond, you're not seeing a console. No. You will see her work in license, probably hardware for their gaming effort. Like, hey, you guys like Xbox games that much? Well, we got the Xbox Portable made to you by Mad Cats. They'll come back and shit. But yeah, she is not going to placate to, like, you can tell she doesn't like doing it. Look at her during the Bloomberg interview. Look at her doing the what do you call this shit? The Xbox podcast. She was so uncomfortable. She does not like placating to that crowd, and I think Phil was trying to force her to do that. But even though Phil was trying to force her to do that by putting her in that role and making that one of her responsibilities, his incompetencies have shown why they shouldn't even entertain this. And I think Sarah Bond is with Satya and Amy where they don't want to entertain it. And I think the only reason why Sarah Bond went and said what she said to that content creator, and she's the likely figurehead behind going to Digital Foundry and Paul Tassi. The reason why she did that is because she's like, look, we're trying to make money with you guys, and from what we understand, y'all did this to us, and she probably didn't like that. Where I think what happened was, I don't think Sony said, here, we're going to give you money if you don't release an Xbox version. I think Sony said, look, Digital Foundry is going to eat us for lunch. You can't release this game like this. We need every single engineer that you have, along with the engineers we're willing to give you. We need all hands on deck on our version. And they probably said, well, hold on, I don't know if that's possible because we're doing an Xbox version. Here goes $3 million. Do it. Let me see you do it. So it wasn't like hey, we don't want an Xbox version at launch. We don't want it's not that. It's you can't release it like this on ours. And we need everybody that can help fix it. Well, we got people on the Xbox here. Never mind that. Here. Again, like we said, everybody's hands on deck. Oh yeah. Everyone's hands on deck. You know what I'm saying? And as a result, the Xbox version, they just stopped working on it. Not because, there was some don't put that out. They don't go fuck. Well, I mean, at this point, do you think PlayStation really cares that much about Xbox to do something like that at the final hour and not advertise it? Like, that's a move that you do when, if you're running neck and neck. Like I would if Nintendo had a box out there and the Nintendo box was slightly behind or running real close to the PlayStation box, and and they're sitting there thinking like, how can we really undercut Nintendo? If they're thinking that way, and I can see them pulling some shit against a competitor, someone who's really threatening them. But Xbox isn't threatening them, especially now that they need them. There was no need for them to do like an underhanded, we're really going to stick it to Xbox. I don't think that was what they were looking to do. They just basically said, we want priority on our version. You cannot, you can't do this. You cannot launch it like this. Meaning that the original version was probably 1,000 times worse. So they're now they're optimizing it and getting it to a certain point for PlayStation, and then they're going to work back on the Xbox Series X version. But again, you can't have a PlayStation version that runs a certain type of way and then just release the Xbox version and it be horrible. That's a stain on you. That's still, people are going to laugh, look at the Xbox version, but then that's going to be a stain on you, the developer. So you might as well just wait. It's better to wait until you do get it right for them too, being that you had to reallot resources. Play Metroid Prime. I would play it. But I'm not buying a Switch just to play Metroid Prime. I love Metroid Prime. Like, Metroid is one of my favorite games. The original Metroid is one of my favorite games of all time. It's in my top 5. But I'm not buying a Switch just for Metroid Prime. Like, there has to, like, the suite of games themselves, they would need, for the games I would want to play, they would need 60 frames per second mode. So these RPGs that are on there, I know Norman's like, oh, you don't need those in, I do. I need them in 60. I'm not moving maybe if it's strictly a turn-based game. If it's strictly a turn-based game where you're just moving on the screen, everybody's walking behind you and shit, like a super old school turn-based game, and you're just walking through like these woods, these pixelated woods, and everything is strictly turn-based. Okay, yeah, I could probably deal with 30, but if it's like real-time action RPG, with turn-based elements, no. It has to be 60. I'm sorry. No. Ruham says, I heard of games flopping, but an engine that makes games flopping, wow. All right, we're out of here. Thank y'all. Appreciate it for entertaining us as much as you did. You are getting a Metaphor Refantazio stream. Thank you so much for keeping it real and being honest with us. That lets us know what we're dealing with. So we got like, just out of the people that were here, out of the 45 votes, I think the number is, if you look at what, 45.7. So we got about 30 people and about at least 30 people that just in this stream have confirmed they will watch it. That's cool. That's good enough. Again, it has to be worth the momentum and the time and effort, because we need a decent start off number, and then it would help the VOD, and then that way it doesn't hurt the channel. So, okay. George Bush hates black people. if I'm not buying new, I buy from someone or an establishment I trust. All right, I'm out of here. Till next time, have a wonderful gaming day. We're out of here. Peace.